to just be in a different country really, and just to have some time to explore and just be around a different culture. It kind of opens your eyes up to how big the world is, and it was nice to get into nature and to see the natural landscape and get some fresh air. um and I don't know, I was on antibiotics last week. I was on nitrofurantoin, and it gave me really bad side effects, and then I had a very, very bad stomach bug, and I literally just felt awful. And then I could sense I was recovering, and I just wanted to get out of the house because I didn't want I just needed to get away basically. So I did, and I'm glad I did. I think it was the right decision, but now I'm home, so I'm glad I'm home as well.
Good for you, Lydia.
Yeah,
Scotland is my favorite place.
yeah, it's a really lovely country. Yeah,
Amazing and very kind people
yeah,
are up
they
there.
are. Yeah, they're very kind, very, very kind. They're very good to me, and they're just very kind people. So I enjoyed it.
I'm not surprised you enjoy to be there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I did it a lot. I can tell. The good thing is with these trips is that it's really marking my improvement, because I think although I can't run anymore because my knee's completely gone, no more runs. But I think despite that, the runs did me well in the short term, because I really think my fitness has improved, because there is no way at all that back in even literally back in January of this year, there is no way you would have found me traipsing all the way up to Edinburgh. I didn't take I didn't take an overnight trip literally anywhere, literally for over 2 years. I didn't go anywhere for over 2 years. I was in England. So it just shows that I've really come on, leaps and bounds, and so that's good also, just to kind of like monitor my progress, you know,
That's nice.
my fitness mainly, and also just my diet. I think my diet's improved, and I think I'm making more conscious decisions with what I eat. Sometimes I'm having setbacks, but I am making more conscious decisions. I'm not just back in December last year, I was just going out and buying dairy milk chocolate bars every day, every single day. And now I'm not doing that anymore. I'm more mindful with what I'm consuming. So I'm happy about that as well. It's making a difference, this time at home, this self-care, the exercise, getting outside more, going to gym tours. Like, unless you actually do something to see your progress, you don't really realize it. But for me to be able to just, go up to Edinburgh last Thursday and then stay Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, Monday night, um, and come back and make it home all in one piece, is good. It's a good sign of progress. And I don't feel like when I went to Edinburgh I've definitely improved in the last couple of months, because when I went to Edinburgh in August, for the Fringe, I just really was like all over the place, to be honest. Like, I just came back and I just felt really absolutely exhausted. I felt like I had to just lie down for 2 days, whereas I didn't get much sleep some of the nights. But in with this trip, it was shorter, and I don't feel like I won't be able to, you know, just keep going. I can just keep going. I'm not exhausted. I'm tired, but I'm not like flat out, on my face exhausted. So that's good. Yeah, it's not perfect, of course, but you know, I've injured my leg and I've run out of money, but I've not completely run out of money. I've still got over £100 in my bank account. I was very careful. Like, I spent a lot of time researching a cheap return train fare, all the cheapest train fares, very, very cheap accommodation, £20 a night. And so I wasn't going out for restaurants, or I wasn't, like, for example, before I was going to the cinema, I did not allow myself to go to the cinema. I haven't been going to the cinema now for months, since I've got this television, so that's saving me a lot of money. So yeah.
And how did you manage with your parents?
Well, I'm seeing them tomorrow actually. So I'm meeting them at 5 o'clock in Knaresborough, where my son lives, tomorrow. So I bought my parents a gift, just a very small gift, like £5 each, but I put it in a gift bag from a museum in Glasgow. So I can give that to them to, keep them, happy. And then I think I've got this felt pad for my son, and I've got a couple. I didn't buy things for my son because I've already got a couple of things for him to give him in the flat. But yeah, I'm seeing them tomorrow. So my family birthday party is tomorrow.
But Henry will be there
Yes. Yeah, he will.
when they change their mind.
They didn't. The plan has always been for Henry to be there, but it's in Knaresborough. They're not coming to Leeds. And to be honest with you, Malgorzata, when last week was not good. Thursday was I couldn't even talk really. I was lost for words when I had a terrible stomach bug. I was having terrible side effects of the antibiotics. Then this contact centre called me up, and I don't even have words for how upset they made me, the way they spoke to me, and just how dismissive and completely non-validating and completely non-compassionate they were in the call. No flexibility or understanding whatsoever. And then this issue where I woke up and I saw that I'd been sleeping in bed with a huge spider the whole night, and then there was another spider in my hallway, and I was just like, I can't do this, I can't cope with this. It's my birthday on Tuesday. I do not want to be spending it with all this resentment. I don't want to be spending the 4 days in the lead up to my birthday. They've decided to share the news that they've made me wait how many weeks? 5 weeks to tell me that they don't offer supervised contact. And it was just like, I just was upset. So I just thought I just need to just get away. And I wouldn't usually, obviously, I'm not going to go to Scotland whenever something bad happens. I'm not going to go to Scotland whenever one of these, assholes decides to make me feel like trash. I'm not going to fly up to Scotland, but with it being my birthday, and with the other stuff going on, and mainly with the fact that I'd been like dog ill for the 2 days before that, I just thought, I'm just gonna go up to Scotland and at least just get into nature and get some fresh air and be around some different types of people who aren't all just English assholes.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. Yeah, exactly. Not all of them, of course, but a couple of them are not very nice people. So I just thought I'd just go. So I did.
That's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think it was a good thing to do, rather than just stewing in my own upset, all the things going on, and just kind of like trying to ask for help from people, and then all that happens is word gets around that you're struggling, and then people worry. And I just thought, not when it's like my birthday, not when it's a fresh start. It's a new year, it's a fresh start. I'm 31 now. I'm officially in my 30s, and I'm not going to allow myself to spend the lead up to my birthday feeling really angry with the way that I've been treated, because that's not okay, and that's not what I want. So, and it's not what my son would want either, and it's not what I'd want my son to do either. So,
Yeah. So what plans do we have?
Well, my plan is that we need to challenge the contact centre, definitely. That's the first priority, because they obviously saw I tried to record it. It didn't record for some reason. I think the only thing that I can record is WhatsApp, but I can't record anything on phone calls. It just doesn't work on my phone. But
this is
basically,
wasting of time. They will
Sorry?
still not accommodate. I think challenging the contact center waste of time. Yeah.
Really?
Because they will still not accommodate you. We need to find another contact center.
I'm not sure. I think they will. I mean, they can't not. Like, what they're ultimately saying is that they offer supported contact, but there is nothing in the court order that says it has to be supervised. It just says contact will be managed in a contact centre. It doesn't say whether it's supported or supervised. And I've
Yeah,
had,
but
you
what?
know, my son living with me for 5.5 months, and I'm having unsupervised contact with, I'm having supported contact with him with my parents in the community twice in 1 month.
No, but you don't understand. They say that they don't do that. What they can offer you is just supported contact, which this is not what you are looking for, which means you have to find another contact
No, it
center
is what I'm
soon as.
looking for. It is what I'm looking for. It's exactly what I'm looking for. I'd much rather
So
be
do you want?
in supported contact than in supervised contact. Supervised contact is when they breathe down your neck and make notes on everything you say and don't let you open the door. Supported contact is when they're in the same room or when they're in the same building, but they give you space. You can move around. You can, you know, you have more space. It's basically the same. It's just less. It's less controlling. You know, it's less restrictive.
So why did you switch phone if this is what you're looking for? If she offered you supported contact?
I didn't switch phone. I didn't switch the phone. That's not what happened. What happened is that she was talking about my son's father and basically saying that because of what was happening with him, it was a case that I needed to be in supervised contact. And I was just trying to say, no, what's happening with him is a separate matter. I've not had any contact with him for 4 years. I haven't been answering his calls, and that's for the courts to deal with. That's got nothing to do with the relationship I have with my son. I've been to over 400 contact sessions with my son. I know what it looks like. And that's what I was trying to say to them. And they were just coming back at me using my son's father as a reason as to why I need to be in supervised contact. And I would understand
Because
that if this was a case whereby we were having contact every day, like with my other ex, Josh, where he was calling me, he was abusing me, I was answering the calls, we were getting on, then we weren't getting on, then we were getting on, then we weren't getting on, then I was visiting him, then I wasn't, then I was, then, you know, then I would absolutely say 100% you can say I need to supervise, and if you don't offer that, I understand. But this is nothing like that, Emmy. I've had no
I know, but
contact with this
listen,
man for 4 years.
now we need to back to the form of referral. Now you understand what I told you. You need to say less to
Yeah,
them. Yeah, this
I
is why.
understand how the system works, but I think that they've misunderstood because they haven't. This is the problem. They don't ask the right questions. So what they're assuming, literally, because I know how it works. They put domestic violence in one bracket, and they say, okay, so obviously he's been violent to her, therefore there's complexity, therefore, you know, because of that reason, she needs to be in supervised contact. But it's not, there's never been domestic violence in the case that he's beaten me up. This is more psychological abuse. This is third party manipulation. This is not so much, and death threats, but this isn't physical violence. So there's no reason as to why I wouldn't need to not be in supported contact because he doesn't have any. He's got nothing to do with me. I don't even know what he looks like. I don't even remember what he looks like. I've not heard his voice in 4 years. He's never seen his son. This is not. You can't put this kind of ex-partner abuse in the same category as domestic violence with cohabitants with women and men who've been living together. You know, we
But what
haven't ever
happened?
lived together or even barely even like spent more than 2 nights in the same house, not
I
least the
know, but
same
what
room.
happened? But what happened in this situation is they use information that you provide in the form,
I know,
referral
but that's what
form.
I'm trying to explain is that there needs to be more. We need to clarify the form because I only had 4 lines to summarize a complex situation. So we need to just
Uh-huh.
clarify and explain to them that, in all honesty, Henry's father is completely irrelevant at this point, and they cannot be using him as a reason for why I am not able to have supported. Like, it is absolutely ludicrous. We have no contact with one another. We're not
You have
co-parenting.
order. You
It's not
have
like
order. They
he gets
supposed to.
every other weekend, and I'm having to navigate that incredibly difficult situation, which I give you all credit for managing. I don't know how I do it, and I've never done it, so I don't know how it works, and I can't do it, and I'm not doing it. But it's nothing like that. This is not complex. And in all honesty,
That,
for me, having deliberately made the decision not to have any contact with him for my whole pregnancy, to be honest with you, them using him as a reason why I can't have supported contact is actually an insult to me because I
but
deliberately didn't have any contact with him when I was pregnant with our
but
son
they cannot
for that reason.
choose if you've got court order.
But the court order doesn't say anything about me not being able to have supported contact. It doesn't specify whether it's
Exactly.
supervised or supported.
They're not the one who choose that. You have court order. They need to
Exactly.
stick
So
with
the
court
court order
order.
means that I should be able to go. Emmy, there's no Malgorzata, there is absolutely no reason I'm telling you now as to why this contact centre should not be facilitating us, except for, as you've said to me many, many times, corruption.
Mm.
Corruption
Mm-hmm.
in the purest sense of the word, but they cannot get away with
Mm-hmm.
that because what they're doing right now is actually misconduct in public office. It's
Uh-huh.
actually funny because like I had to get away because I was trying to actually wrap my head around it. But when you were saying to me last week, you were like, you know, they haven't got back to you for 2 weeks. We need to make a complaint. And when my response, I was thinking when you were saying that to me, I was thinking, yeah, but you know, it's only been 2 weeks. Can we really make a complaint about that? But obviously, you know the system better than I do, and you were obviously onto something that I wasn't onto because I don't unless things are very 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 clear to me. I don't, because of my trauma and my memory issues, I just don't pick up on subtleties. I just don't pick up on it.
Yeah,
But
it's
now
normal,
I've had
Lydia.
that call
So
with them and I've heard them really, really drill it into my head that they
listen,
are corrupt. It's very evident that
I
yes, I do
know
need to make a complaint.
they all corrupt. That's why. Do you have copy of your referral
Yes.
somehow?
Yeah, I do.
Okay,
Yeah.
you will send me this copy,
Yeah.
and I've got your court order, and we will write email to them, and we will tell that they are not
Yeah.
the one who will decide what type of contact you will have because
Mm,
father of
mm,
your child is
mm,
not relevant to the case.
mm.
You have court order
Yeah.
which you need to stick, and you would like to book
Yeah.
visits with your son
Mm, yeah.
as soon as possible.
Yeah, definitely. I agree
That
with
they
you. I
must.
do agree with you completely that we need to make a referral to the centre in Huddersfield and get that ball rolling. But I want to go to the one in Leeds. I do not want to be travelling to Huddersfield. I really don't. Just because I've gone up to Scotland and that gives the impression, oh, that I'm fit, well, happy. But that's only because I was doing something I enjoy. And I was going back to a city that I lived in for 3 years when I was 18 years old, when I had a best friend that I lived with, Kirsty, who cooked for me every single day, and I was the happiest I've ever been in my life, and the fittest and most beautiful I've ever been. I was a model when I was 18 years old. I had men falling at my feet. So when I go up there, it's because I have that memory. But when I'm here, I'm in a city where I've nearly lost my life. I'm in a very dangerous environment where there are a lot of people against me. Like I come back today and I spent money on buying 2 owls, little owls, of ornaments that I put outside my front door, stuck them on this little ledge outside the front of my door just as like a kind of just to be friendly with my neighbours. You know, they were just owls. They weren't anything controversial. And I come back and they've been stolen. So that's now the second time that my property has been stolen from me. I've spent money on things that look nice, that are aesthetic, to try and bring people in the building some joy and try and create a nice atmosphere, and they've just nicked them. So I'm coming back to that, and I know it might seem like a small thing, but it's not. It's a sign that I'm in an abusive relationship with my landlord and with my neighbours, and I'm not welcome here, and I don't want to stay here forever. You know, and that's what I'm contending with right now. But despite that, they don't have any reason to say that I can't be going to this contact centre, and they definitely, if they don't offer supervised contact, then they should have said that in the first week. They should not have kept me waiting 5 weeks to just tell me that they don't offer supervised contact.
Uh-huh.
You know, they're wasting
This
my time. They're
also
delaying
mentioned.
things. They're delaying justice. They're delaying my son from seeing his mother.
Of course, I told you they all connected.
Yeah, I know they are. And it's not acceptable what they're doing right now. They're breaking a court order. That's all I have to say. They're breaking a court order right now. I've done everything I can do. You know, I have a ruptured leg. I really, really cannot be going to Huddersfield. You know, I can't. I've got knee supports on and I'm not going to be running anymore. But this is a very serious injury, you know, and I haven't had any proper physiotherapy. The physiotherapy was an absolute joke, you know, and then they cancelled the appointment. They started cancelling appointments in April, you know, and it's just ridiculous. You know, it's such a simple thing. 2 hours once a fortnight, or you know, 1 2 hour session with my son in a local contact centre to me in Leeds. We've already done the contact centres in Leeds because we were going to the starting point centre for 6 months last year. So they know that my parents can travel to Leeds. They know my son's happy to be in Leeds when he's much, much younger. A year and a half younger we were doing it. There's no reason why they should be doing this. You know, and they're causing everybody distress because this is going to put an atmosphere. Tomorrow would be very different if I was going tomorrow, being able to say to my parents, "Oh yeah, Henry, I'm really looking forward to seeing you next Thursday at the contact centre." That would have that would have made the atmosphere tomorrow a lot more mature, a lot more adult, because I would be in some level of control. And instead, I'm
Yeah,
going there tomorrow where they're going to be asking me what's going on with the centre. I know they've probably been having third-party discussions. I know social
listen,
services are involved.
listen, that's why it's important that tomorrow you will not touch with them any of those subjects.
Yeah.
Exactly use the way what your mom told you. This is not
Mm.
place to talk about this kind of things.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Until we will not set up that. And
Mm.
tomorrow evening, if you will have time when you come back to home at night
Mm.
after shower,
Yeah.
we will write email to contact center. So tomorrow night we will
Yeah.
send it to them with court order.
Yeah. 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 I think that's a really good idea. I think
Okay?
that's a
And
really good
first
idea.
email will be not harassing them, yeah,
Uh-huh.
but explain them that they didn't understand your position.
Yeah, exactly. Because the thing
Okay?
is,
But
Emmy, is that
next
we were both
time,
under the impression when I called them that they were calling me to arrange contact. That's why you told me to call them immediately, and I agreed with you because of the fact that we both thought that they were calling me to arrange a contact session.
yeah,
So they weren't. That was not their intention. They were calling me, wasting my time on the phone when they could have very easily just written an email and said to me, "Apologies for the delay in getting back to you. Unfortunately, we don't offer supervised contact." But instead, they called me up so that there's no paper trail, so that now there's no record of them having told me that.
exactly. This is exactly that's why it's good idea create another email and send to them email
Mm.
from different person asking if they are accommodating supervised contact.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna have, or at least to ask for the clarification as to the reasons why I'm not able to be in supported contact, because there's nothing about that in the court order, and I'm already having supported
Listen,
contact in the community without
I
a
can
professional present.
maybe tomorrow. I can tomorrow call to them and ask
Yeah.
them that
Yeah,
I'm
you could
looking for
see if they were
contact center.
lying. You could see if they're lying. You could
Okay.
call them and say, "I'm looking to have a session with my child. Do you
Yes.
offer supervised contact?" And see if they do.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Mm.
And then we will see if they will say yes. We are uh, offering it. Then we know there are new.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then we'll have a record that they're giving false information about the services they provide.
But the best is if we will send to them email. I
Mm.
can send email to them. So write me.
Yeah, that's a good idea. You could send an email to them and ask them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, obviously, they've spoken to social services, so social
I
services have
know.
obviously said that they're not happy with it. For some reason, they're not happy with
I
the
know.
arrangement. So they're also
I know.
correct.
Uh-huh. I know that. That's why we need this evidence.
But I know it's probably because of oh my God. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, can
Because
you
the
really
worst.
use something that came 2 months ago? I've had no contact. I've not
Listen,
been like calling up Joshua, every week. And a lot of women would have been calling him up every week, so angry of how distressed he made them, saying, "How dare you threaten to kill me? How dare you do this? How dare you? He stopped paying child support, Emmy. How dare you stop paying child support for your son?" Calling him up every day, so, like, getting his friends against him. This was on the 6th of July that or the 6th of June or the 6th of July that he left those voicemails on my phone, and I've had no contact with him since. That's July, August, September, October. That's nearly 3.5 months, and it wasn't like it was in person contact. We were 400 miles away from each other, so I really don't think that they can use that as anything. And if anything, it should be the opposite. I've done everything possible to safeguard my child following those death threats. I've done everything, but I haven't been liaising with him. I haven't been trying to take justice into my own hands. I've gone to the police, which is what many people advise me I should have done, and then I've gone by the courts. That's nothing. If anything, that shows that I'm trying to safeguard my son from his father, who is a substance misuser, as far as his history of violence, and as far as all of his other criminal record, I don't know about that. But all I do know for sure is that he's a drug user, and all I do know for sure is that he's got an alcohol problem. So if anyone honestly thinks on their bottom dollar that I'm going to let a 6'6" man out there who's got a lot more physical ability than I have threaten to kill me, my child, and my whole family, who are the only people I have out there, and they think I'm just going to sit back and let that happen and not do anything to respond. No, if those voicemails had just been, "You're a fat ugly bitch, I fucking hate you, you've ruined my life, I hope you have a miserable life, you ugly bitch, nobody's ever going to marry you." I've heard it all before. I wouldn't give a damn. I would not have called the police about that. The only reason I called the police was because he's literally threatening to kill me. Otherwise I would have just left it. Like my other
Listen,
ex, he called me every name under the sun, Josh, the other Josh,
listen,
every name under the sun, and I never went to the police. I never got him arrested. I never went to the courts. I just let it go. But I can't when
but
someone's
no one
threatening to
know
kill
about
me.
this video. Contact center and social service are not able to know this.
No, I know they don't know this. They don't know anything about my
Exactly.
relationships or my ex's abuse. They know nothing about that. I've never told them about anything like that. But when someone's threatening to kill you, you have to defend yourself because otherwise they may kill you. That could happen if I don't do anything.
Mm.
He could kill me. I'm not joking. He could kill me. If I don't get a restraining order against him, he could come and he could very easily kill me. Very easily. And nobody would
I
give a
know,
shit. Nobody would care. Nobody would fight for justice for me once I'm dead, Emmy. I
I
would just be
know,
forgotten about. Trust me, I know the system. I am
but ignore.
every woman who goes through something like this and loses custody of her kids. That is just a pure and utter sign that literally there are enough people who genuinely just do not give a toss about me. That if this man were to murder me in cold blood, no body, no crime, I'd be gone, and my son would be left without a mother, and I'm not willing to allow that to happen.
I know, but we cannot bring this situation to your case because, as you see, you just mentioned about something in the referral, and now is problem.
Yeah, we've agreed on that. I've already agreed with you on that. I shouldn't have mentioned it in the referral to the contact centre. That was a mistake. But as for my
Mm.
independent decision to seek a restraining order against this man so that he cannot murder me, cannot come anywhere near me when he wants to murder me, that's not a bad decision. But I agree with you, and I've learned from that I shouldn't have put it in the referral form. The referral form should have just been very vague information about the fact that I want to see my
Yeah,
son. I've been working on
I've got
myself,
most of
blah blah blah.
the
That's
same.
all I should have said, and that was a mistake, and I've learned from that. But I can't go back in time, and I can't erase
That's
that
why
from the referral form. It's
we need
happened
to
now.
explain to them. That's why we have to explain to them this
Mm,
situation
I know, I know,
and put the record straight
I know, I know we do.
because they've got bad expression. But what I'm thinking is they have contact with social services.
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
And
They don't want. They of
they,
course they don't want. Okay, so A, they don't want me seeing my son full stop, but B, they
yeah.
don't want me to be successful in getting a restraining order against this man. They
Mhm.
don't want me in court with those recordings of him threatening to kill. We played that in court. Because you know how stupid that's going to make them look. That they seriously incarcerated me and drugged
I know, but
me with a man who is
this is
murderous in intent towards me. It's going to make them look
but
like they've been the most unprofessional, foolish
yeah. But
people
listen,
ever.
these are two separated cases. You can, if you want fight for contact for your child, this with your husband, father, you need to leave it for later when you will get contact with your son secure.
Mm, yeah.
Worst case scenario is if this is what will gonna happen,
Mm,
that they will obstruct your contact in contact center.
mm,
Have to take this to the court, like I told you.
I know.
You need to find time to gather all of the evidence because if you will take this case to court and provide all of the evidence. Even if you will not find the solicitor, you will have to represent yourself. You will learn. You will not have any choice if you will not find, good solicitor which are not corrupted. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You will have to provide all of the evidence, which means you need to buy 3-4 folders
Yeah.
and start to gather evidence, because later on, when you will have 2 weeks time
Yeah.
to court order, you will be devastated, overwhelmed with getting everything, because I know you've got PTSD. You will be in shock. In shock, you will be not able to prepare a good evidence.
I know.
You need to do it when you are mentally stable, which means now, before everything start. Half an hour every day, prepare documents, print them, put them in a segregator
Yeah.
with subject.
Yeah.
Very professional it must be, because if you will give one segregator to the judge, he must be able to able to understand what is there, which means everything needs to be on place in the right way, Lydia.
I know, I agree with you. But imagine if the shoe was on the other foot and if Joshua was the one who'd been in contact for 2.5 years with Henry, and then suddenly I get drunk, I go out, I get drunk, I take cocaine, and I start sending voicemails to Joshua saying, Joshua, I'm going to fucking kill you. I hate you. You're an awful person. You've ruined my life. I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill your mom. I'm going to kill your whole family. I'm going to kill your brother. I'm going to kill everybody you love. But do you think that the courts would then respond to that by saying, "Oh, Joshua, 6'6" white man, attractive white man, we're going to now stop you from seeing your son because of the fact that this mad lunatic of your ex has threatened to kill you. So what we're going to do is
No,
we're not
Lydia.
going to put her in jail, and we're not going to section her. We're not going to put her in a psychiatric asylum and drug her so she can't ever threaten to kill you again. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to now permanently stop you ever seeing your son again, or we're not going to let you see your son apart from if you're with your parents, 6'6" Joshua." Like, it would never ever happen. It would just never happen, which
It
means
will
it's
not.
misogynistic, it's sexist, and that's
It will not
discrimination.
happen because Joshua is not in your situation. They abused you. You have evidence what they did to you.
I know. I
And if you will
know I have
go there,
evidence.
and if you will go there, fight for your son, provide all of this evidence, there is no reason that judge will not say that your son is coming back to you, Lydia. This is what they all scare.
I know. But I mean, the
They
thing
scare
is, though,
if
I
you
don't
will
think
not
that's
do
true. I
this.
mean, at the moment, you're 100% right, because what you're saying to me, which you've said to me many times, is that as long as there is a sense that I'm angry with Joshua because he wants to kill me, that is a child safeguarding risk, because there is a man out there who, if my son comes back to me, could show up at my door and kill us all. But what I'm trying to explain is that at the moment, yes, that's the case. Absolutely, that's the case. But if I was granted a restraining order, Joshua would not be allowed to come near me. So therefore, that chapter would be closed. So these discussions we're having, where you're saying you need to leave Joshua out of it, you need to stop talking about Joshua, stop putting Joshua in the forms, stop mentioning Joshua because it's child safeguarding, blah blah blah. But if there's a restraining order in place, then we're not going to be having that conversation anymore, because he's not legally allowed to come anywhere near me. So therefore,
I
they
know,
would
but
not be able
still,
to use Joshua as a reason for
still
why my son can't come back to me.
they will use, Lydia.
But
You
they can't
cannot
if
do
there's a
this
restraining
before.
order. They cannot if there's a
But
restraining order.
everyone know this restraining orders doesn't work, and they are just for 1 year, Lydia.
I know,
They
but
will
for
still
that
use it
1 year,
against you.
they wouldn't be able to use that against me for that 1 year. And within that 1 year, that would give me the opportunity to have my son at weekends, to have him for dinner
Yeah.
for that year. And then after that, of course, that's another hurdle we'd have to face. But maybe in that year, Joshua would get drug rehabilitation and Joshua would no longer actually be a risk. And then it would be a
In my
situation like with
opinion,
you and your child's father, where he gets her at weekends and there's no difficulty there, because you're both adults and you've been able to co-parent your daughter together.
but this is not my case. your case is more difficult and complex. In your case, there is 150 people who did wrong to you, and they are on high positions in the
Yeah.
government environment.
Yeah.
They will use anything against you to stop you to get your son back in order to stop you to prosecute them.
Mm.
That's why
Mm.
your strategy first must be get your son back. So when they will look in the documents, they will not see anything about Joshua. When you will get your son back,
Mm.
fuck Joshua. Then you
Yeah.
can get restraining order because you will
Mm.
already have your son.
But what I'm worried about though, Emmy, is that Josh, and this might be me speaking out my ass here, but what I'm worried about is that Joshua is having, if not Joshua, then Joshua's mother, Lucinda, is having contact with social services. And that's what worries me, is because domestic abuse is often the case that they use social services to abuse the woman. I'm a woman. I'm
Yeah,
a
but
lone,
listen,
vulnerable woman, and
if
he could be using
Lucinda,
social services again to attack
listen,
me.
but if Lucinda is in contact with social service, you will just find out that if you will start court proceeding, and then you
Mm.
can attack Lucinda.
Yeah.
The other way you will not find out, because if Lucinda is in contact with social services and they would like to use this evidence in the court against you, they need to provide them. You need to read them.
Yeah.
You understand? Now, there is no legal reason for you to get access to Lucinda, for example, reports, her saying, okay?
What she said about me. Oh my god. She doesn't even know me. She's never even met me until after her grandson was
But we
born.
don't know that, Lydia. We don't know they using Lucinda.
I know. I know. We don't know.
No.
You're right. We don't know.
We
I have
need
no
to
idea
focus
what's been
on
happening with
things
her.
that we know. We know
Mm.
that they abused you. We need to use those evidence to build up your case and get your son back to you full
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. I know.
When you will get your son full time, you even can leave this country and fuck all of them. Secure
Yeah.
your future forever. They will not find you.
I know.
You can even go and live in Scotland,
I know. Exactly.
Lydia. And then how they will find you out? You will even not say to your parents where you live
Yeah.
because sorry now, they lose your trust.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, you're right.
So
I
no
mean,
one never will be able to track you.
I know.
And even in case
Yeah.
Lucinda's son will want to have access to your son, they
I
will be
know.
never able to find you, Lydia.
I know. I know.
You need to think about positive side and about what you've got on the table, Lydia. Don't use imagination. What if this person say that? What if this person say this? You don't give a fuck about that because you didn't see if any of those people say something. If social services want to use anything against you in the
Mm.
court, they will
Mm.
have to show the evidence.
I know, I agree with
Because
everything you're saying. I find it interesting that the only lawyer, like you know this because you've been speaking to me
Mhm.
for 10 months, how hard it's been to get a lawyer. I was literally, it was 15 minutes before the final hearing, and I found a lawyer from Damien Dobson. So this is another thing we could maybe try and backtrack on actually, because I think we'd stopped talking at that point, but I found a lawyer from Damien Dobson, and he was the partner of the firm. It was a miracle, an absolute miracle. I made 100 calls in an hour the day before the hearing or the day of the final judgment, and I found a lawyer, and then he agreed to take on the case. And then he basically, what happened is I got an email from Tisha Matthews or from what's her name? The Dominica,
I remember
the
you
lawyer,
didn't
and she
provide him
basically
with
said to me
evidence.
that they'd appointed the official solicitor on my behalf. And as soon as she said that, it undermined my credibility. And then they explained to him that my son wasn't up for an adoption order. And then the lawyer dropped me and said they couldn't take on my case. But that definitely was a long email they sent me, and there were about 10 points that I wanted to challenge them on that were completely inaccurate. So That is a potential
That's why,
avenue
Lydia,
actually for legal
the
representation.
basic is to have evidence in correct order in your segregator, okay, folder. Then
Yeah,
you can go to any solicitor you will think is good, show them evidence and ask
yeah,
them, what do you think we can do with this? I won't get my son back. Is this
yeah,
is enough? And then he will tell you, and you will see straight if they will say, no, there is not possible to get your son back. You know he's already corrupted.
yeah. I agree with you. The folders are
Because I
essential.
see the evidence and I know there is chance to get your son back, but you
Yeah,
need to put them in order, have them
yeah.
physically in your
Mm.
hands.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. Completely agree with you. They need to be in
Because if you will
folders.
not have
Yeah.
evidence and you will start to talk with someone, he
Mm.
say, okay, send me evidence. Like you don't have them prepared.
Mm.
You cannot send 100 emails to someone to make him to look for the evidence, okay?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. My
Because
case
people
has to be
don't have
strong.
time.
Like, I
Yeah,
need to be
people
at the
don't have
point where I
time.
potentially could self-represent, but I'm getting a lawyer as like a bonus. You know, that's the point I need to be at, where the evidence is so strong and so organized that I could self-represent, but I just want to appoint someone who's better at that than I am, because I'm never going to be as good as a lawyer at as a good lawyer at self-representing. You know, but
Yeah.
I am good at getting together folders. I did a degree. I studied humanities for 4 years at the best university in the UK. I know how to find and present evidence. That's something I'm good at. It's just about buying these folders and then finding a way of getting a printer and having the money together to print everything out. And then it's not just about, because for
Listen,
example, like if I'm printing everything, I get my medical records all there. I get my private medical records all there. I get the cash reports. I get all the lap reviews. I get all the
all
contact
of the
centre
complaints.
reports.
Yes, everything in separate folder. And the best for you would
Mm,
be if you can buy, they are cheap, the printer to your home. Paper is cheap, printer is cheap. You don't
yeah,
need to walk nowhere. You don't need to drive. You can sit at one at night and start to doing them
yeah,
in time of which
yeah,
it will be cheaper that you will have to pay for buses uh, because that would be not in one go, Lydia. You
yeah,
will have to go there many times, if
yeah.
not 100.
I know.
In this prices, you will be able to buy your own printer. Is the best. I've got my own printer
Have
at
you?
home.
Can you send me at some point the make of your printer? Because the problem
Of
with this
course.
is that I have a negative experience with printers. Because when I was doing my law degree, I was in the first year of my law degree at BPP Law School. I bought a printer from HP and it was just rubbish. It was so slow, it was so small, and it just like took ages to print everything. And I'd rather
Maybe you
spend more
my
money on a
own
big
then.
printer, a good solid, the ones you get in the library, like a good solid printer than one of those crappy little flimsy ones that just break and keep jamming. And so if you could send me the brand of your printer, then I'll just order whichever one you have if you think it's good.
Yeah, my one is the best. I've got my one over 5 years, if not 6. Never let me down.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
I buy it 6 years ago,
yeah,
and now this printer will be much cheaper. And I've got HP,
yeah.
but it's good quality one.
Okay. Yeah,
And I'm telling you, it will be the best for you if you've got one printer at home,
yeah.
because the way you live,
Mm,
you might be tired to go in normal time
mm,
to the library because they are open in specific times. Okay, in the morning you will be not able to go because you will be tired. You are your mind working the best at night
yeah,
because it's night and then you already wake up. Okay,
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
so you will be able to print everything
yeah,
at night, and plus
yeah.
stuff like uh, paper is very cheap, Lydia.
Okay, well, I need to add
Paper
printer
is
to my
very cheap.
list because I haven't even got print. I wrote in Edinburgh. I spent one whole day in a museum with my laptop. I brought my laptop up to Edinburgh. I forgot to mention. That's why my knee has gone because it might sound like I took a trip to Edinburgh for fun. That was not the case. Truly, I lugged a 10-year-old Dell laptop, heavy Dell laptop, all the way to Edinburgh because I was so determined. I was like, I have to do whatever it takes to get my mind and my brain in order, and I can't think here. I'm so this place. I don't know what it is. I just can't think straight here. And so I took my laptop up to Edinburgh and I sat in a museum and I literally just blitzed it and I wrote a huge list. I wrote a to-do list and then I wrote a things to buy list. Everything I need to buy for my son, for my flat, everything I need. And now, one thing I haven't added to that list is a printer. But I can add that now, and then I can make sure that that's high priority. Like that's like
But
probably after a
seriously,
fight,
this
that's the
is
first thing I need to buy.
good idea, Lydia.
And
Because even
seriously,
like
maybe
I
not even a
say,
bike,
even
maybe an exercise bike at home. That's a
every
better
day,
idea,
even
isn't
like
it? Get an
even
exercise
if
bike at
you
home, not a bike where I go
even if you
outside.
like I say, even if you spend
Mm.
10-15 minutes a day, it
Yeah,
will not make you tired, you know?
yeah,
At
exactly.
night, you don't have nothing to do. You can go and start to print medical stuff.
Yes,
You feel tired,
yes.
you're stopping to do that. Straight what
Mm,
you print, you putting in the folders. And after
mm,
2-3 months, you've got everything ready.
mm. Yeah, no,
If you if
that is
you've
a
got
good idea.
4 hour energy, you can spend half an hour, 1 hour, maybe longer.
Mm,
Depends how you feel. You don't need to walk nowhere.
mm,
You don't need to ask people. You don't need to wait when will be
mm.
read free the printer. You know what I mean?
Yes, yeah, I don't want to be going out. Like, I don't. Like I'm happy right now. Like my routine where like I do one Strava walk a day. I'm happy to go and get my groceries. I'm happy to go for a nice walk. That is it. Like literally, that is it. I don't and maybe, like go and see my son. That is all I am interested in doing. And like maybe once in a while meet up for a coffee with a friend for a bit of social. That's it though. I don't want to be going to these big groups. I don't want to be going to do big courses. I can't do it right now. Like I just want an exercise bike in my home where I do my exercise bike workout in the morning. I have my shower, I sit down and I print my documents that I need to print and put them in folders and then spend the rest of the day just highlighting stuff and making notes on stuff. So I'm not like having to
Exactly,
spend all my
Lydia.
time in front of a screen, straining my eyes. I'm just like,
Exactly.
I have the paper documents in the folders and then I'm just working my way through the actual evidence, like actual proper evidence. And then like I have a notebook and I'm like, obviously like making notes on the evidence. Um and
Exactly, Lydia.
cross-referencing, like this inaccurate quote on in paragraph 4, page 6 of the looked after child review. I can challenge this quote. If you look at then paragraph 6 of my medical records, you'll see that that's not true, but I have to be able to cross-reference because that's the only way of
Lydia.
you can't just look at a piece of evidence and say, okay, they've told me that I'm eccentric, but I'm not, if you have nothing to prove that you're not eccentric, or you have nothing to prove, oh yeah, I'm eccentric, but I'm also very logical. I can't just say I'm logical unless I have evidence about that. My evidence might be like an employment reference, a reference, like I still need to write your reference and it's on the back of my mind and I am going to write it, but it's like that would be evidence that I'm not eccentric, or that it's measured eccentricity. It's not anything abnormal. There's a lot of like Diane Keaton, who's just died. She's known to be eccentric. Nobody put her in a mental asylum. So yeah, but that's key.
Okay,
Printer for
but
sure.
remember that I was writing to you complaints. In these complaints, you've got everything.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you wrote those complaints, and that's got all my
Exactly.
all the evidence in it.
Exactly, Lydia.
Yeah, yeah, for
So this
sure.
is already cross evidence.
Yeah, Yeah, exactly.
Because if you think seriously to get your son back to home, this is necessary to do, Lydia.
Yeah, I know.
And the hardest is to start. When you will start to get passionate about this.
Yeah, I know.
Because you will start to feel that you're doing something right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right. 100%, completely right. You're completely right. Absolutely. And there's no point in buying another bike when all three of them have been stolen. It obviously doesn't work for me. So I need to just if I want to go on a cycle, get a barrel bike and then just buy an exercise bike at home. Or a rowing machine. Rowing machine might be better because then I can just sit down. But that's a much better option than spending £100 on a bike and then it just getting stolen again. Or, it causes me anxiety when I'm cycling because I'm like, oh God, I'm going to get hit by a car or I'm going to fall off my bike or the chain's going to come off. It's just anxiety inducing. It doesn't work for me. So I need to just get like a home. It'll be the same price. It'll be the same price to get a home exercise bike as it will be to get a proper bike. And it's not like I have it at workplace because I'm not ready for that right now. I'm not ready for that. I mean, I could maybe do like 5 hours a week in an office, maybe, but even that I would really struggle because I just can't guarantee I'm going to be able to sleep. I don't even have if right now I could say to you, yeah, after this I'm just going to get into my bed and go to sleep and it's no problem, but I can't because right now there's this huge spider still in my bed. My Hoover is crap, so I can't just Hoover it up. There's another one in the hallway. There's probably more. So I can't just go to bed. I mean, that is not normal. So I have to put up a tent after this call. I have to literally gear myself up, no word of a lie, clear the whole living room and put up this tent and then hoover my mattress and bring the mattress into the tent, which to be honest, I probably won't do. I'll probably just end up sleeping on the floor because, no, I will. I'll bring in the mattress probably, but I don't know if I will. I'll probably end up just sleeping on the floor of the tent. But at least I know I'm not going to be surrounded by spiders and I can relax and have peace of mind and not wake up in the morning and look over and see there's been a spider in bed with me all night. That's not normal. That's not acceptable living conditions. That's not dignified living. That's what they do with children who've experienced severe neglect. You find them and they're surrounded by insects in rooms filled with rubbish bins. Like my flat's clean, but I can't control this pest problem. And it's like they sent pest control around once 5 weeks ago. That's not how it works. If there's a pest problem in a flat, you need to be booking pest control to come in once a fortnight. And they know that. And I know that. And, I should have said to them, please can you book for pest control to come back in 2 weeks? Because the pest control worked. I had a couple of weeks where there was no issue with the spiders. They'd all vanished because of pest control, but now there's more warmth in the flat because the carpets are down and the pest control needs to come back. But like, it's just driving me insane. Like all of these things that keep happening, which are just like so infuriating. Um, like the council only agreeing to put carpet down on the two of the rooms. I mean, why? What I should have said to the council is, I'll pay you. Can you please carpet all the rooms? And I'm happy to pay for the other two rooms to get carpeted. I mean, I should have done that. I should have just paid them more money and said, please, can you put carpet on all the rooms? When I knew they were coming, that would have been a much better idea because now I'm left with two rooms that aren't carpeted. I just didn't think stressed, and stress stops me from, thinking about everything I need to do. So now they're gone, and they probably won't come back because Leeds will say, yeah, but it's Leeds Building Services, so you've had your grant, we can't come back again.
I know, Lydia, but we've got 2 months before renew. We need to open court case before that, Lydia, before they will make decision.
I know. But they haven't even said anything about the court hearing. Like, I don't even know if there's going to be a court hearing. I mean, how do you know there's going to be a court hearing? They said there's going to be a review, but that's not a court review. That's just a social service
Listen,
review.
exactly. I don't say they will make court hearing.
Mm.
Social service will do whatever they want. You need to open court hearing before their decision to challenge, because we know that decision would be against you. We
Yeah.
know already that.
Yeah.
That's why they are obstructing the court
Yeah.
order. And your parents allowing you to see your son because they are afraid what will gonna happen if you will take them to court.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
after review, your parents will not give you any contact, Lydia.
I know.
You need to realize that later on you will cry.
I know.
Remember, your parents are not normal. Henry and Diana working in Lidl.
I know. I know.
They are experienced social workers.
I know. I know.
You need to be 10 steps ahead, Lydia.
Yeah. I know.
If you will start soon as possible to gather those documentation, print everything, we still have chance to open hearing
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
before
it needs to be
review.
done in the next couple of weeks. All the folders need to be collated with all the printed evidence in the next couple of weeks.
Because remember, when
Yeah.
you will do those evidence, you still want to have a solicitor. You need to be able to provide him those evidence.
Yeah.
And you need to copy everything in three
Yeah.
parts.
I know.
Everything need to be triple for you, for court, and for solicitor.
Yeah.
So this is not just
But
one
shouldn't it be
folder.
the case though that all I have to send the solicitor is all these complaint emails we sent, and then they get the evidence? Isn't
This is
that what
not
they're paid
enough.
to do? They're paid to do the SARS request and to get the evidence because they're lawyers.
Yeah, but listen, will you trust these people?
No, of course not.
Exactly. When you will provide everything, they don't have room to manipulate.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
When they will provide, there is room for manipulation.
Yeah,
You don't have time for that.
I know. I know, you're completely right. I don't have time for any more manipulation. I mean, it was like ridiculous the amount of manipulation I survived for 2 years. I mean, truly ridiculous, 2.5 years, and I can't cope with any more. So I need to just literally, I need to just get my own evidence, and then they have no room to, they can't. I mean, any evidence that hasn't been sent to me still could be manipulated, but any evidence that I already have can't be because it's already there. It's in written form. It's dated.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I said, Lydia, it's about your whole life. If
I
you will
know.
lose contact with your son, you will lose this house.
I know. I know. They're already trying to make me feel unwelcome. So,
Yes,
it's any excuse they get to kick me out, they will, and then I'll be out on the streets with nowhere to call home. No way will I be able to go for trips or plan for the future if I don't have a solid base to call home. And I can't plan my son's future either if he doesn't have a home. Because at the end of the day, right now, this home is mine, but it's also my son's. He's welcome here anytime. So that needs to stay that way. Because if I don't have that, then I have nothing. And then everything
exactly.
else falls apart. Like I keep saying, my health is bad, but in all honesty, like it is bad. I'm over 100 kilograms, but if I didn't have a home, imagine how much worse it would be. It would be even worse. I wouldn't have nice skin. I'd have spotty skin. I'd be in a lot more pain than I'm in. I wouldn't even be able to walk. It would be really bad. I'd probably be in a mobility scooter right now if I didn't have this place. So I can't lose it. I have to do everything I can to get my son back, and keep parental responsibility so that at least I keep this place, keep this home mine.
That's
And
why,
then,
Lydia, like I told you, they give you this house to look good in paper. But they knew as soon as they will take responsibility from you, they will take this house out.
yeah, I know. I know.
And in papers, they will look good. They're trying to help you.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
But you didn't do anything. Will be their explanation, Lydia.
Yeah.
We know that this is their game.
I know. I know.
That's why you need to be smart.
I'm
Gather
just
evidence
I'm
and
just
kill them.
upset though, because it's like if this conversation was us talking about the evidence, but we knew that contact with my son was set up for this week, for Friday this week, then at least we wouldn't have to worry about that. But it's like we're just clinging at straws because at the moment, no, sorry, we're just holding on to crumbs because at the moment I don't even have the contact set up. And without the contact, as you say, there's nothing working in my favour without any contact because, you know, ultimately without access to the child, it's like you may as well just your case is redundant.
Exactly, Lydia. Still, you have house, you have environment where you can gather evidence in peace.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
fight.
Yeah,
Later on,
exactly.
you will even not have place to wash yourself, to make
Yeah,
shit.
I know, exactly. Exactly.
Sorry, I'm,
No,
I'm
but you
afraid.
speak the truth. I know this for a fact. There's hundreds of women in Leeds right now who don't even have a place to shit. They don't even have a place to wash. They're having to literally queue up at 7 in the morning to go to the St Anne's homeless shelter to use a tiny little shower, probably without shower gel. They have no toothbrush, and that's what they're doing every day. They're not sleeping all night, so they're having to take heroin to just get through the days, and then they're having to queue up, you know, with a load of drug addicts in order to be able to have a 5 minute shower with no shower gel. Like that is literally like that is what I know it very, very well because before we started talking for a year, I was having to use those services because I was that desperate. I thought I was going to die, you know. So I know how easy it is to fall, and I know I keep reminding myself, and I keep doing things to remind myself of that because it's very easy to forget, and it's very easy to get complacent and think, oh, I'm okay now. I've got a house, you know. Things will just naturally get better, but they won't. You have to put the work in, and you have to keep reminding yourself that if they can take everything from you again, they did it once, they'll do it again. They don't care about me. You know, if they did it once, they can easily. I know it because I worked in recruitment. Anyone who's done something once can do it again. That is just the way the world works. It's a fact.
I know, Lydia.
It's why they say you should never go back to a man who ever hits you because if he did it once, he'll do it again. It's just a fact, and it applies to everything in life. If they raided my home, they could do it again. If they kidnapped my child, they could do it again. If they forced me to take drugs, they could do it again. If they locked me up, incarcerated me, put me in captivity, detained me unlawfully once, they could easily do it again.
Exactly.
Like, and the fact that I've been homeless means that although I'm not homeless now, I could very easily the fact that I've been homeless means that there's more likelihood that it would happen again because it's happened once now. Whereas for people who have never been homeless, the chance of that happening to them is a lot more slim because it's not on their record. And I have to really, really bear these things in mind. Everything bad that's ever happened to in my life, and to be honest with you, everything bad that's ever happened in my son's life as well, it could very easily happen to us again.
I know, Lydia. That's why this is what I'm telling you. I don't want to tell you or make you angry, but I want you to be aware. There is not much time. And
I know.
I remind you again, 150 people are involved in wrongdoing in your case.
I know.
Their position against you, what do you think they will choose? Oh,
Yeah, I know. I know. I know. It's bad. It's really bad.
remember Mohammed case, also, in last court hearing, she didn't say.
Yeah, I know.
Like I say, they all covering up. We even don't know if this woman is still alive.
I know. Which woman?
This in Mohammed Muzamman court hearing, which we find on internet.
Oh yeah, I know exactly. We don't, do we? We have no idea.
Yeah, you don't.
I know. I know.
That's why if you fight, you need to be ready for everything.
I know.
Do łazienki? Pójdźmy trochę. There is 2 months. They steal from us 5 weeks. Gdzie ty idziesz, kochanie?
I know.
5 weeks of waiting for nothing to find out that you don't want to accommodate.
Oh my God. Uh,
Like I say, they all fucking connect
I know.
in wrongdoing.
I know. It's like when you call a lawyer to try and get legal representation and you spend 3 hours on the phone to them explaining your case, trying so hard, and then they tell you, "Oh, sorry, we don't work with public law cases. We only work with private law."
Mm-hmm.
And you've just spent 4 hours explaining the most traumatic moments of your life for them to just say they don't do public law.
This is how it works, Lydia.
I know.
That's why you cannot waste any more time. Buy printer, buy paper, and buy folders,
Yeah,
and start to gather evidence.
yeah, I
And
will.
then you can fill out application,
Yeah,
upload evidence, which means one folder.
yeah,
You will go by hands, give to them, properly secure
yeah,
with evidence that they took those
yeah,
documentations from you,
yeah,
count pages, everything right on separate paper, what is there,
yeah,
so nothing
exactly.
will miss magically.
Oh, yeah. I know.
Because imagine if you will become homeless, Lydia, you even
Mm,
will not have place to go and fucking shit.
I know. I know. It would be bad.
You will even not have place to sleep, Lydia. Your
I know.
parents will not take you because they prevent you from seeing your son, which means in this situation they also will not help you.
I know.
Your brother probably will be prohibited from helping you.
I know. By the way, my
Mhm.
brothers are, I was going to ask you what I should do because my brothers asked for my address so that he can send me a birthday gift. But I don't know whether to give it to him or not. I feel kind of bad if I don't, but then at the same time, that means he could then give it to my parents.
Exactly. Better to not. You can tell him to give, if he want to give you any present, he can give to your parents.
Yeah, exactly. Or meet up with me for a coffee and then give it to me in person. Just wait until we next see each other and then give it to me then.
Exactly.
Because he's been hesitant about me having even his address. So then I don't really see
Exactly,
why I
Lydia.
should give him. Like, they honestly seem to think that they have full access to my life, and yet I'm
Yeah,
only allowed limited access to my son's life. It's not how
yeah,
it
exactly,
works. I
Lydia.
can't do that. That's not fair.
It doesn't work like those
Yeah.
people know what they planning.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Even you can tell him, don't worry, brother. I don't need that gift.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
At this point, the most important for you is to have access to your son.
I know.
Any gifts will not rise everything what happened to you. And remember,
Yeah.
they might doing this to gather evidence that they are
Mm.
supporting you.
Yeah, I know. I know.
You will say they cut you off, and they will say No, we're sending her gifts.
Yeah, I know.
It's pure manipulation, Lydia.
I know. I know it is.
Because look how they change when they find out you will take them to court.
I know. Exactly.
This is supposed to tell you everything.
Yeah. Yeah, because as soon as you're in court, everything's open to you. Prison, they could put you in prison, they could fine you, you know, they could evict you, they could put a record on your name, a criminal record on your name. Like, once you're in court, you're fair game for any level of punishment. So they don't want to be even in court to begin with because it puts them at risk.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
It is what it
Yeah,
is.
I know.
You have plans. You need to stick with it.
I can't honestly believe I spent 25 years thinking that my parents just had a job and that their job would never ever affect my life and my chances of having my own family. If I'd have known that, I'd have never ever ever stayed. I'd have never ever, you know, tried to have a family in London. I'd have probably moved way before then. But I just always assumed that they'd respect my boundaries. And I
Yeah, but
always
they
assumed
didn't.
that if anything, it would work in my favour.
They supposed to told you that, but they
Yeah,
didn't want. Like I told you, your
yeah,
parents shouldn't know that
I
that
know.
people will come and take you away
I know. They shouldn't
because
have
you are
known
adult.
that.
No, they shouldn't. Social service shouldn't told them
Yeah, I know. Why did they tell them? Why did they tell them?
because everything was set up, Lydia.
I know.
This is why.
I know. Probably, honestly, I genuinely do believe as well that it was probably based on things that had happened in my own parents' careers as well, you know? Like their careers in social care, there was probably a lot of corruption that they were witnessing as well. So, like, this isn't even just all about me. Probably, maybe I'm wrong there, but I'm not even sure if this is even all about me. This could go back
We
years
don't
and years
know.
and years.
We don't know, Lydia.
I know. I mean, my parents were involved in some big cases, Emmy. Big cases. We're talking like the biggest cases in the whole of the UK. You know, like they were involved in some big child protection cases that made the news, you know?
Mm.
So they could expose a lot of inside knowledge about the social care system. And
Yeah, but
so,
if they were one of the whistleblowers, they wouldn't put you in this situation.
yeah, I know. They definitely wouldn't. They
They
definitely
would give
wouldn't.
you call and say, Lydia, pack your bag and fuck off from this country.
Yeah, exactly. They'd have told me to get away
You
from
have
it all,
3 days. After 3 days, they coming for you.
Yeah. They
Tomorrow you
hated
must
social care, though.
disappear.
They always said to me, Lydia, make sure you never have a career in social care. They always said that to me. Never, ever. We would never want you, Lydia, going into a career in social care. So, hey, now it's not my career, it's my life. How funny is
Mm.
that? How funny is that? Because if I'd have gone into a career in social care, guess what? I'd have actually had a bit of power. You know, I wouldn't have been able to have my life ruined by social care because I'd be a social worker myself. How often would it be that they take kids away from a child protection and social worker? It would be very unlikely, wouldn't it? It's a way of protecting yourself. And they never wanted me to have that level of power. So I think this might have been in the works for years, to be honest.
Mm.
They knew I was going on dates. You know, they knew that this was a possibility, that this would happen. They never did anything to stop it.
Yeah.
They never
But
said to me,
anyway,
oh, why
Lydia,
don't you invite that guy around for dinner with us so we can meet him and actually try and help you to get into a proper relationship so that you won't end up in this situation. They never said anything like that.
Lydia, I'm going to sleep and
Yeah.
you think about what we were talking today about this evidence,
Yeah, that sounds like a good
because
plan.
this is very important.
Yeah,
Looks like they will prevent you from having any contact center involved before the review,
yeah,
which means your one route is to open court hearing and
yeah,
show them in court hearing that they are breaching order.
yeah. I agree.
And this is one way how you can get access to your son, Lydia.
Yeah, I know. Okay, I'll let
The
you
other
go.
can.
I have to go to the bathroom
You,
now, so I've got to go. But
okay,
I'll speak to you
then we
tomorrow.
will speak tomorrow at night.
Yeah, okay. Bye.